Say stop. Remember this card, don't forget it. We'll bury it back in the center of the deck. With no moves, it rises to the top. Every card in this deck is different. I just want you to think stop. Remember this card, don't forget it. It doesn't matter if I know what this card is as well. What's important is that you realize my hands will not come together. Look. Watch the deck. Your card is now on top. Let's say you stop me on this card here, the 5 of diamonds. Don't forget the 5. I'm going to out jog it so that you can see it at all times from the center of the deck. Look. No suspicious moves. And it's important to notice that my right hand will come nowhere near my left hand. It's done. Now that card is on top of the deck.
Today we're going a bit sideways. I'm showing you 3 card moves that you shouldn't perform on camera, even though I just did. And hopefully they fooled some of you. And the reason we're doing this is thanks to a commenter named Ibrahim El-Mrani who commented this: I appreciate your work, but as a Moroccan, I can't buy gimmicks or even the tools to build one. So I was wondering if you could post some tricks with normal playing card tricks, because you always post something special. So I figured today would be the perfect opportunity to show you guys 3 moves, 3 card controls that have interesting methods, but probably should never be shown on film. Let's jump into it. And remember, if you would like to win a deck of my very own custom designed, fully marked Moonshine Vintage Elixir playing cards, then all you need to do is make sure you subscribe to the channel and comment something down below.
Remember this card is the 10 of hearts. We're going to bury it about halfway into the deck. You all think that I'm about to do a move. I'm not. Oh wait, it's not there.
Here's the thing with this control. Some of you were fooled, some of you weren't. By the time you finish watching the explanation to it, you'll never be fooled by the move again. And it's one of these moves, annoyingly, that in the real world, most participants, most spectators don't even watch the moment the move happens, because when you're performing and you have the card selected, controlled, you should be talking to your audience as the cards go back. They shouldn't even be really focusing on the moment. That's why it made it onto today's video. That's why it shouldn't be shown on camera, yet it is. So some of you were hopefully fooled, some of you weren't. Either way, by the end of this explanation, you won't be fooled again. At least not by this card control.
So here's what's going on with this control. We're actually using your brain against you, as opposed to pure sleight of hand and deception. And what I mean by that is, because you're conditioned from seeing this move all the time, the dribble of cards, the selection of a card, and the replacement of the deck, I'm using this against you to hopefully trick your brain. Maybe not all of you magicians, but in the real world, absolutely spectators. So let me expose to you why this works. The secret is very simple. I'm going to dribble cards, have one selected, and replace the top half on the bottom where they think it's actually still the top half, thus controlling the card to the top. But it works because of a few things. So firstly, when I dribble the cards and stop, normally I'd bring my hand back and let you see the card. But I'm actually going to bring my hand forward and bring the card here. This now means that this bottom packet is A, slightly above this uppermost packet, and B, the opposite orientation to what people are used to seeing. This allows you to do a couple of things, but one of them is that I can now grip this front packet without my thumb being attached, just by using my index and pinky fingers. So this gives me freedom with the packet. Okay. The second thing is now that I'm going to come backwards to apparently coalesce the two halves. And because this left-hand packet is unusually higher than the top half, I can come back and move my two fingers slightly out of the way and bring it straight underneath the deck. And as I do that, these front fingers actually provide you with tons of cover. So it just looks like you're placing the deck back, but secretly it's going under, okay? And also you don't want to flash these fingers at the bottom here, but this is why we're at an exposed sort of angle. So I dribble. I naturally would want to come backwards, but I move forwards. And what's nice about this is that it kind of goes out of the spectator's peripheral view, kind of like the camera lens would be your eyes. The focus is all here, and I can just reposition my fingers. Nobody is looking. And now as I come back, I can just place it apparently back on top. And if I bring my fingers together at the last minute, you can't see this. So normally you'd see this exposed view. But if I bring my fingers back just together at the last second, it looks like nothing happens. So one more time from the exposed view, bring forward, grip, come under, and close those fingers. And now you have this great control to the top with no difficult messing around. What's nice is that you can actually control two cards at exactly the same time. So if I could have this card selected, say, I could show this card, bring the deck back together, and it's controlled to the bottom. And I can control this card back to the bottom, or to the top. Or I can do both at the same time. So I can say, like, you remember this card, you remember this card, we'll place the deck back together. And now I've controlled one card to the top, one card to the bottom, which is perfect for if I wanted to get one card into cop, one card into palm, and I can steal this card out and this card out.
So this control was created with myself and Peter McKinnon. We were working on a bunch of cool techniques that didn't use typical sleight of hand methods. This one in particular, I wanted a card control that was one-handed, so I could place the card into the deck and it would come to the top seemingly invisibly. I kind of achieved what I wanted. It still needs work, so I'm sharing it here today. You can actually find the first performance of this way back on my Instagram for a good couple of years ago, and it was inspired by a Larry Jennings move, and I just didn't want to use my other hand to achieve the control. So what I've tried to do is get rid of some telegraphing, try to make it look and feel as natural as possible, but the reason why this shouldn't be on camera is that this should be performed and you should see the performer as he's performing, because you need to sort of let the misdirection and the relaxation and tension of the performer's body lull you into a false sense of security as the move is happening. So that's why it shouldn't be performed on camera, but I did, and now you're going to learn how it's done.
One more time, this is the control. Hopefully you spot it this time if you didn't spot it the first time. The card comes to the top. This is what's going on. It's comprised of two parts. The first part is out jogging a card from the back of the deck. What I think helps makes this deceptive is I don't use this classic sort of out jogging move that other magicians use. I go into it from a squared up dribbled position like that. And all I'm doing is allowing my thumb pad to contact the back of the selected card. And it looks like I just placed my hands together, but really I can out jog that card. So here my thumb just contacts as I come back. And all you have to do is just make sure they don't see over the top of the deck, as with any out jog move. So that's the first part, and that just gets rid of the telegraphing that some magicians would be looking for if you did it this way. Now the second part is, I'll show you from the exposed view, is that I'm going to have the out or the back jogged card here, and genuinely my hands are not going to do, or my right hand's not going to do any work. I'm going to let the card contact my lowermost rib like this and kick to the side. And then applying just the right amount of pressure, I'm going to move my hand, so I'm going to hold this card here. My left hand is going to open out like that, okay? And it's just going to be enough for that card corner to clear. And the faster you do it, the more sound it'll make. And that's why I try to give it away in that little exposed sort of performance right at the beginning. So the card's held against your side, but look, This, for all intents and purposes, is a regular, normal position. I'm just going to clear it, and now my hand's going to reverse the motion and come back and let that card come under my thumb, and I'm going to drag it forward. And the big tip here is to not come back. Lift your thumb up and clamp down like a sea lion trying to wave. You want to have the cards here, it comes out, and you're going to just let it slide under your thumb and move it. You don't want to be doing this as it looks like you're tickling your own ribs. So from the exposed view, dribble, let the card be selected or taken out. It's kicked back, angled, stolen on top of the deck. And really, this is a very angle sensitive sort of move. Doing it on camera is super difficult. I'd much rather do this in real life, as I feel like with misdirection and attention, I can get their attention to look away when I need to. So that's why this has made it onto one of the 3 card controls that you should never do on camera.
Before I teach you the last control, I know I'm going to get this comment down below, which will be something along the lines of, how do I create so much unique magic? I know that because I get it in every single video, at least from someone. The answer, I wish it was as simple as eat more pizza. But it's not. It's because it's a process that I go through, and every process is different for every single trick. But what I do have is a certain set of skills or tools, cognitive tips and tricks that I've developed and learned along the way that make creativity easy. It's almost like I've got the cheat codes to create more, better and original magic. I've never explained them before, but for the first time ever, I sat down in front of a camera, completely unedited, and give myself a goal of creating a brand new, unique, torn and restored card that to me was amazing, one that I want to perform for the rest of my life. And I didn't know at the start of the video whether I would come up with a final trick or if I would just end up with a few interesting ideas. And I actually ended up with probably my favorite ever torn and restored card that is incredibly practical and incredibly fooling. So I uploaded that video to my Society of Secrets. So if you want to learn my creative process and support me at the same time, head over to patreon.com/LloydB and you can watch that entire video completely unedited and learn how to create more magic yourself. And you get access to all of the other tutorials that are on there, the exclusive magic that won't be shared anywhere else. On top of that, you'll get invited into my private Society of Secrets Discord server, which I'm told is apparently one of the most active Discords in all of Magic. I'm there every single day, jamming, chatting, hanging out. So if you want to come and pick my brains or just see some new tricks, then come on in. I'm confident that I didn't fool any of you out there with this card control. What I do hope, though, is that you could see the benefits of it, or at least the reason why it made it on here. The core element to the move, as you all know, if any of you have ever performed magic before in your life, even once, you'll know that final bit that makes the card come to the top is a non-moment. When you're actually performing, you could do it 30 times in front of someone and they wouldn't notice, because you'd be doing it with real misdirection, you'd be getting their attention, you'd be talking in and out, you'd be doing other things. That move can happen 1,000 times and they're not going to see it. Not when there is a DSLR HD camera aimed straight at your hand, though. So that's why it made it onto this video, but it's super fun to do in the real world. So the reason this shouldn't be performed on video is because of this big, horrible turnover move. Now, any magician worth their salt will know that turning a deck over, especially if you're hiding just one card, is the easiest thing to misdirect in the world. You can do it a million ways, but you need to be able to see the magician's face and at least upper body more than I'm doing. So you can just do it like this, you can do a T.G. Murphy deck flip, a million different things, but being burned on camera, this is much, much more difficult to do. And that's why it shouldn't be on here, but let me run you through the interesting set of moves to get there. So the first thing is the setup. We're going to just turn one card over on the bottom, okay? And now I'm going to spread through and have someone call out stop. Wherever they call out stop, you're going to turn over a double. Okay, so that's 2 cards as one. I use Bill Perkins' slop double move. You can learn that from Bill Perkins somewhere. I'm not going to teach it, but any double turnover will do. I just like the slop one because it's quite tricky to get ready from all these different positions, and I don't like to pull back and telegraph what I'm about to do.
So the Bill Perkins slop double is perfect right now. Either way, I turn over this card and show it. Or these two cards even, because there's two cards there. I maintain a break under those two cards. I turn them back over, and I say follow the card, and I'm going to kick it forward with my thumb. Alright? And now it's going to seem like I place the spread back together. But what's happening is I'm angling this card like this, okay? So the card comes forward at an angle. Everyone's focusing on this, by the way. They're not looking at the deck. And as I do that, as I bring the packet back together, without the packet there, I'm turning this bottom half over. Alright, and what's really nice is that you see this card right here, and that really allows you to convince everyone that the card's being lost into the center of the deck. Okay, so at speed, let's do that one more time. So you spread through the cards, somebody calls out stop, you turn over a double, display it, they can sign it if they want to. This double gets turned back over, okay, so it's now, the selection is second from the top. I kick it on the side on an angle, and as I bring the spread back together, I'm going to turn to my side, which gives me all the cover to literally, with my fingers, start to rotate the deck. And my other hand is going to help not drop everything, okay? So underneath view, one final time. Here, turn over the double, turn it back over, kick out the X card, and then bring this all together like that. Okay, so at speed, from an exposed view, I'm here, turn over a double. Okay, so there's two cards right there. Turn them back over, kick out that X card, bring it together like that. All right. Now I'm in this position. I have half a deck of face down cards, an X card, which is not their card, the rest of the deck, and finally their selection. So all I need to do from this position is turn the deck over. Now what's nice at this point is that if you are performing, you can place the deck down on a table as you say, can we just move the glasses out of the way? And you can just drop that down, nobody will notice a thing. You can place it onto the fingers of your hand, okay, so using this as a line, place it onto the fingers of your hand like that, drop your hand to your side, gripping the deck, and as you come up, it'll naturally turn over. But you could do that in this sort of performance mode, so you collect the cards back, place the cards here, talk about something, and then just flip the cards over. If you know the T.G. Murphy deck flip, you can just do a half T.G. Murphy deck flip, trying to keep the cards together. You can do a million different things. You can do some sort of weird flourish that looks like you're just rotating the deck. Maybe on like the third one, you turn it over. There's a bunch of stuff you can do. All you need to do is to flip that over. I didn't have the luxury of misdirection. That's why I do this thing of showing my hand saying, notice that I'm not doing anything, and flipping the deck over. So from the exposed view, I was just placing the cards on my fingers, bringing my hand up and flipping that deck. With a real person here, I could do that and get away with it, because I could say, watch, most magicians use sleight of hand, and I could come up and cover everything as I do it, but I didn't have that luxury. So that's why this card control is on the 3 card controls you should never do on camera tutorial.
I hope you all found some value in today's tutorial, because I know the card controls are not the best to perform on camera, but in the real world they can absolutely fry an audience, and they could even replace some existing controls that you use in one of your existing routines, because the economy of motion could just help you and aid you that little bit better. Also, it's quite fun to get away with card controls that are so bold right in front of your spectators' noses. With that being said, if you would like to win my very own custom deck of designed Moonshine Vintage Elixir playing cards, then make sure you comment something down below and hit that subscribe button. On that note, if you are a new subscriber to the channel, then I recommend checking out this video next before going off to binge the rest of my content. And if that's not enough for you and you want to see my best kept secrets that I won't share on YouTube, head over to patreon.com/LloydB to support me today.